Feed those pandas and put them to bed. It's Uncle Says. Hello and welcome to Uncle Says, a weekly discussion of what it's like to make a YouTube channel from China and be somewhat artistic about it. I am your host, Emily, and with me in the background running the board is Peter.
Sup.
He says sup. We are coming to you live to tape from beautiful whoopwu studios here in Luzhou, Sichuan, China. And this week, as always, we have our 4 segments where we're going to talk to you about what we do here in China. Number 1, how's your uncle? We'll talk a little bit about us and our real life. Conducting business is a little segment about YouTube logistics and stuff we've learned from a numbers perspective, really. And then commentary is the behind-the-scenes commentary on some videos that we posted this week. And we'll wrap it up with Watch It, which is our media recommendation for you. Our big story today is we're going to talk about, in the commentary section, how we decided to relax our workflow once we had gotten like a little over our head. But first, I'd like you to ask, how's your uncle? Let's do it. Alright, so we're still here in the middle of the Chinese New Year holiday, and it's been glorious to be off work for this long. My paid gig is I'm a kindergarten teacher here, and I've been off for about 3 weeks, and I think I have another week to go, so that's really nice. It's the weather for New Year's and the week after has been... You couldn't ask for nicer spring weather. It was just like beautiful blue sky days and so sunny every day. And then yesterday it just turned cold and rainy again. So it's winter again after a beautiful spring festival. Our plan this year, so every year for Chinese New Year, we kind of mess something up. Too many years in a row, we've said, oh, we'll find a restaurant that's open. And then it's like super hard to find, especially New Year's Eve and the first day of New Year's. Nothing for real is open. And every year we think, well, something will be open. And we do sometimes find one little restaurant, and one of our New Year's we spent in a hot pot. And like they were closing early for the holiday, and we came at dinner time, and they gave us dinner because they felt bad for us, but it was definitely like, please go home, we want to go home. And so it just, every year we kind of miscalculate. And then last year we made a plan, but then we were just kind of too disorganized to execute it. This year finally got the plan right. We ordered some supplies from Taobao early enough that they would arrive in time for New Year's. We did a big shop at the grocery store, got everything we needed, and then I was wrong about what day New Year was. I thought it was the 3rd, and it was the 5th. So we started chowing down on our provisions too early, leaving us not quite foodless, but towards like, do you want to eat this old dumpling that's been in the fridge? Fortunately, by the time we were really kind of running out of food, McDonald's was opened, and so we ordered a delivery from McDonald's, and then we made a video about the sandwich I had, because it was a weird one. So this year we did so much work to really be on our game, and then I was just wrong about when everything was happening, which was kind of funny. But we got a good video out of it.
Well, we released the first one, and that was on the wrong day now.
Yeah, we had a New Year's video, but we released it 2 days early because I was wrong about what my New Year's was. I mean, fortunately...
It wasn't until like 2 days later that we realized we released the video, ate all of our cheese.
Yeah.
And then we're...
What made me realize is Tuesday night, or Monday night, I went to bed. And then there were a ton of fireworks at midnight. And I was like, that's weird that they're doing fireworks for the second night of New Year's. And then I was like, oh, duh. No, they're doing it for New Year's Eve. This is New Year's Eve. I mean, it was plausible that there would be no fireworks because last year there was a big crackdown and there just weren't really fireworks last year.
I guess that's our one tradition as 𝗖𝗵cie.
Yeah.
That we mess up
Getting
New
it
Year's
wrong.
every year.
I mean, it wasn't too bad. It was just the one meal that we were like, I'm sick of eating these crackers. We're out of cheese. We had egg salad for lunch, and I don't want to make egg things again. And then McDonald's was there for us. And, like I said, we got a video out of the deal. Also, I think posting the first video early is not too huge of a deal, given that much like, I would say maybe even more so than Christmas in America, it just is like the whole season is, everybody knows it's New Year's. You're all talking about New Year's, you're talking about your plans.
Some of the other expats were releasing it that day, so we were panicked.
Yeah,
Everyone's releasing their videos, and it's the day.
Yeah.
But then we were okay.
Yeah, just like always, we're still here. It all worked out.
And we're always ahead of everything.
And I think...
We're impeccably on time.
Yeah, we're early, and that's on time. And by next year, I will have forgotten, and we'll make some similar mistake, I'm pretty sure. So,
Sweet.
Happy New Year. 新年快乐. But so then, let's conduct some business.
Conducting business?
Okay, we actually have a few different items of business to talk about. Our channel, we just made a decision to... Well, okay, so the new channel, Hello Foreigner, is where our vlog lives. And we are currently in the middle of reposting our videos that we made last year because no one saw them last year and now they're getting a chance to get seen. And we had been on a schedule of one a day, but we recently, this week, decided to change to a twice-a-week schedule because we're getting into a crop of videos that are pretty substantial and they're longer, the subject is a little more in-depth, and we wanted to give each one time to breathe. We kind of felt if we had one a day, first of all, people might drop off of like, oh, I can't keep up with all this. It's too much Emily. I don't think there can ever be too much Emily, but
Too many Emily?
I'm willing to concede other people might feel differently. And we wanted, you don't have... Hello Foreigner is not a news site. You should never feel like you're behind. So we wanted to give these videos just a little time and space to each occupy your attention.
The batch of maybe our first 40-ish were all in the 2 to 5 minute range, more or less. So when it becomes what we're going into, where things get into half an hour, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, that's just too much of anybody. Yeah, and
on the operation side, Peter has his places that he likes to visit to promote our work, and he kind of felt like when we had these lighter weight videos, these shorter videos, these less planned out videos, that maybe he could skip a day of promotion and that's fine, but he kind of felt like he wanted to devote all of his promotion attention to each one of these coming up, and he also doesn't want to bug the forums every day with like, hey, we got something new.
Give these big ones that are 15 and 20 minutes long a little time to breathe for a few days.
Yeah.
Even twice a week, some people would probably say are saturating the market. But
Yeah. So the plan is 2 a week on Wednesdays and Thursdays of the old videos with a new giraffe video every week. The giraffe vlog is really the new face of the current vlog.
It says it right there.
Yeah. When I've got the giraffe suit on, you know that I'm vlogging. I'm gonna drop some vlog on you.
Vlog dropping?
So watch out. Watch out for falling vlogs. So yeah, that's our new plan of attack for the next couple months. And so that will bring us into June.
Whoa.
Will bring us to the present in the future. And that's good news for us as well, because we have, in this time, we aren't idle. We're not sitting around.
This isn't a vacation.
Yeah, this is not a vacation. We're actually working on stuff for the new videos that are going to be pretty substantial, pretty much bigger than anything we've ever done, which we don't want to get too much into it because we're just at the beginning stages of something really special, we think, and so we don't want to oversell it before we've even done anything, but know that we're working hard on something pretty special. And this 4 months of runway is pretty useful for that endeavor.
But keep watching these guys.
Yeah, keep watching these guys. These are all new every week. This is me live to tape. It's probably yesterday.
And click the
if
likes.
If you're watching it now. Click.
More likes.
Yeah. And yeah, this live to tape stream we plan on continuing indefinitely. Sunday nights we're taping them. I think we're now publishing them Monday afternoon.
Monday.
China's time, so who knows what that means for you. You have to be where you are so you know what time it is there.
You're a foreigner.
Yeah. But speaking of this particular endeavor, we are feeling pretty good about the live to tape rather than live to streaming. I think it works for us. And Peter was just saying that YouTube itself is kind of souring on the idea of the live stream. Why we started this was because they gave you a bump. They would show you, they'd give you more impressions, is what they call them. They'd pop you up in results. They'd show you on people's homepages. You'd be in people's recommendeds more if you did the live stream. But you're saying that's not really the case so much anymore?
Yeah, YouTube itself has seemed to, I don't know exactly why, it's probably a myriad of reasons, are not looking as fondly. Possibly that they've polluted the area with too many toxic blah blah blah.
It does seem like, this is not all live streams, but a lot of live streams where people just sometimes getting drunk or sometimes just being belligerent sober, where they'd get together and say kind of nasty things about other YouTubers or other gossiping.
Yeah, a lot of gossip.
And worse, and riling that together in a live mob of online mob.
And then the thing. There are roving online mobs that go around harassing other channels.
And then after the event, they would take the video down so there's no record of their misbehavior. I have no inside pipeline. This is just as someone who is aware that maybe
vaguely paying attention.
Yeah, even less than Peter is paying attention. My guess would be if most people were using the live stream in that way, that maybe YouTube didn't feel like it was worth it to support that.
Plus, it kind of muddies up your own. If you're coming out with regular videos that you pre-taped, but people are coming just for your streams, it messes up your own channel itself. Yeah. And it's messy. If you did that, and that's all you did, it'd be good for your channel. But it messed us up.
It did mess us up, and I think it's for a variety of reasons. Going live is the big thing. I mean, Periscope. That's old. Ancient app now, but more recently, Twitch is a video game platform where you can watch people play video games live, and then Instagram also now has these stories that you're supposed to. I don't really know what stories are for.
No.
But every social media platform is rolling out a live thing with without knowing really what to do with it, and
neither do the users. You just kind of like do a picture, a moving 30-second picture of your face or whatever, and then you turn it off, and then it goes away, and I don't know.
Which that kind of haphazardness is, I mean, Twitter was started, they had no idea why people would want that, but they knew how to do it, so they did it, and say users figure it out, and now we have Twitter, and see how that worked out. But I don't think, well, not to get too much into tech. Anyway, so live to tape works for us. 2 separate channels for the live stream and the vlog, keeping those as separate audiences is seeming to work out for us. So bring it back to us.
No one listens to us live anyway, so
yeah, no one was listening to us live. One time my mom made it, and
so except for her, this actually doesn't.
Hi, Mom.
This doesn't affect anybody.
It's us. Yeah. And then actually,
we're having a great time.
We are having a great time. That's why we're continuing to do it. Because, like we said, the initial reason to not be actually live is that our connection is not good enough to maintain the stream. But we like the format, so it did lead us to a new idea. A new channel, so we are happy with that. So that worked out for us.
Our videos are so great, we had to have a separate channel to talk about them.
Yeah. And this is what I was gonna say. I think these videos over time accumulate views, and they were never gonna do well live for us, but they being out there.
Yeah, but occasionally somebody pops by and watches one, and
yeah.
I don't know how they found us, but cool for them.
We're happy you're here.
Congratulations.
And I think for us, 5 years from now, I think we'll be happy to have this as a record of this time. So even if no one else gets anything from it, it's working for us, so we're doing it.
Noodles to us.
Noodles to us. And then, so our final piece of business is PBS, which we published 5 days ago, I believe. Is that correct?
5 days ago, exactly.
PBS was our fake. We call it PBS. It's not called PBS anywhere else.
Or Keep Your Freaking Money.
Yeah, Keep Your Freaking Money. It's a look behind the curtains of how we put our videos together, and
at least as of 9 months ago.
Yeah, it was conceived as a fake pledge drive where we weren't asking for money, but we were asking for subscribers. And it's a video that at the time we made it, it was the pinnacle of what we could do. It was definitely, like we like to say, the best video so far. And each new video usually is the best video so far, which is, a good way to grow, I think. It was something we wrote because all the advice was like, you have to tell everyone subscribe, you have to tell everyone you have to
call to action.
Yeah, you have to have a literal call to action in the video. So subscribe below if you like what you see.
And hit the bell.
And
share.
And we were kind of not into that, so we were like, well, let's do it for one video and see if that has any effect.
To be fair, nobody is.
Yeah, nobody likes to do it, and nobody likes watching it, but it is encouraged because, well, it is psychologically, even us as creators, there was something we were watching today that we liked, and Peter didn't think to give it a like until the guy in the video said, so give me a like.
Oh, I will.
Yeah, and so we do, that's why the whole field of advertising exists, is because people are suggestible, and people are not as invested in your dream as you are. So if you want them to keep paying attention to you, you do actually have to ask them for that.
I guess even at this point, even giant corporations eat a McDonald's
especially corporations.
Yeah, or you eat a hamburger.
Why do you think there's McDonald's commercials on every 10 seconds?
Eat a hamburger and they're asking you to go online and use your phone to give us a hamburger like.
I mean, I was talking to someone who said every 40 seconds a new thought enters our head. So even, which is not even people are so dumb, but that's just how our brain is always constantly kind of searching for a new path. So if I want you to follow me down my path, I do have to ask for you to follow me down my path. So this was our experiment to see how
many times we can say subscribe.
yeah, how explicitly asking people to subscribe might work, and it did work. I mean, we pushed it pretty hard on our Facebook friends and stuff, but
the first time around,
it's
like we got like 13 or something.
We got a bunch of subscribers,
which was a lot for us back then.
Yeah, 13 was a lot. Our old channel didn't do that well. That's why we have the new channel, Hello Foreigner. Subscribe to Hello Foreigner.
It hit the like.
Yeah.
How much? Do you remember how much it when we took down the channel the first time around? Did it make?
Subscribers or views?
Views for PBS keep the freaking money.
I don't know why I asked you that because I don't know the answer to either of those.
All I do know is that in 5 days we've already hit 135.
Oh yeah, that's.
I think we may have hit like 60 or 70 from a whole like 8 or 9, 10 months or something.
That sounds plausible. Yeah. I mean, we talked about that in a previous episode that we started the spin-off channel because we felt like our channel had been buried by the algorithm. But anyway, so editing PBS. It was a video that was the pinnacle of our achievements at the time. And were we to remake the video this year, there's a lot we've learned in the interim that we would have done differently. But specifically, Peter noticed in the first day that people were watching the intro and then just dropping out. And the intro is fairly earnest because I'm setting the PBS style, but in a subtle way that if you're not expecting it to be a joke, it just seems like so I'm here in Luzhou, China. PBS wants you, and I didn't say PBS because we're not PBS, Uncle Foreigner wants you to subscribe. Let me tell you about all the subscriber incentives we can offer. And so it was played fairly straight to be a joke, but the joke only becomes apparent if you watch more of it. And people...
The first 2 whole minutes. The title of it is Behind the Scenes of a Real China Vlog, so you would assume that you are clicking on something to watch a China vlog, and then they watch you for 2 minutes, ask to subscribe because YouTube works this way, and then they turn it off and miss the whole other 7 minutes of what the behind the scenes is.
Yeah, so they were missing the whole content of the video. And were we to redo everything, we would start from scratch and rewrite a snappier intro, get right into the actual jokes. But that's not what this time is for. We're not actually remaking our videos, we're just reposting them. So Peter tried just chopping off the first 2 minutes that everyone was jumping off after using the YouTube editor, which is a tool in YouTube.
Brand new beta.
Yeah, it's the tool. It's a non-linear editor that you can use within the browser, which I see 2 uses for that. If you don't have your own editor, if you're not editing your own videos and posting them, you might want to edit them on YouTube, but that's
or maybe you said something racist in the middle of the interview,
and you didn't edit it on your home computer.
But then you uploaded it.
It is in 2019. I don't feel like there's a lot of YouTubers who intend to edit a video that don't have a non-linear editor of their, like Final Cut or even iMovie that comes free with your iMac, unless this is something for the developing world where maybe you're uploading your movie on a cell phone and you don't have an editor, and you do want to kind of do some edits. So, okay, I've talked myself into why they might want this.
Some days, if there's like government official things going on, our internet will slow down it takes us a day to upload one video, and maybe you are in the midst of 4 or 5 days of that and you want to put up videos, and you put one up and you can't get back to, you don't want to upload it again, but you made a mistake.
Yeah, yes, I could see use cases for that. Because the other thing I was going to say, if you uploaded a video and you realized like you wanted to cut something off either end of it, then that's an easy, just chop it in in the editor. So, okay, I've talked myself into why this might be a useful tool.
It's not a bad thing, but it doesn't work
I
that
was
well
just assuming, like, every 7-year-old in America has access to some kind of editing program. But the world is not America. And that's not even true about America. Maybe not every...
The world isn't all video.
I made a
editors.
classist assumption, and I'm walking that back. Which...
Maybe we cut this out.
Yeah. If I didn't stand by our integrity, maybe I would cut that out using the YouTube editor. But anyway, so you chopped off the beginning, and it's a destructive editor. They don't keep your edits, which that makes sense. They don't want to keep version control as well as editing. That's just like too much for YouTube, a free service to store.
Too much.
And so you cut off the front.
First 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Gone.
Which, it doesn't seem like that expanded our watch time at all.
No.
But looking at the numbers, we do have 2 weird spikes. So usually our traffic, starts at 100%. A large chunk in the first 2 seconds click off. And then, whoever sticks around. And then the end. And this one does that large dip at the beginning and then spikes and then
You're
spikes
making the
again.
camera go crazy.
Sorry. So we have 2 spikes at 4 minutes and at 5.5 minutes, and I have no idea why they happen. They're not like an especially funny joke. They're not an image that people would like.
Yeah, it's not like you could scrub through and you find like the Himalayas or something like that. It's just another picture of you.
Yeah.
Hey, there's one other picture of you in a different place.
Yeah. So ultimately, that experiment with the YouTube editor led to some confounding results.
But that's what we're all about, experimenting.
Yeah, that's. I mean, the data's there. It's kind of dangerous. The data's there. Let's use it.
Well, we got 135 views. I think we got a couple of subscriptions out of it.
So it did its job, and that's
something.
That's all we asked for that little guy. So let's move on to some commentary, some behind-the-scenes commentary, which I think we still don't have a bumper for.
No, we don't.
So, commentary. So we were kind of talking behind the scenes numerically, and now let's talk behind the scenes artistically. This crop of videos we posted this week represented a pretty big shift in our workflow at the time. As I said last week, Starbucks and PBS were pretty major endeavors that both took a couple weeks to put together, and we decided that was not sustainable, especially because I work as a kindergarten teacher. I don't have full time to make movies. I wish I did, and one day I will.
Hit the like button.
Subscribe, please. So we kind of re-examined the scope of videos we were trying to make and how to lessen that workload, especially on me. And we kind of have a joke now. If Taiwan Street Pancake ever appears on our big board, that means we're up for a pretty major change in how we do. You can see it in PBS. I point out Taiwan Street Pancake, and we never got to make that video. And there's been several times since where we kind of slot that into the lineup and then decide we got to change everything about what we're doing.
We love to eat them, but not enough to talk about them.
It's a Taiwanese snack that became popular here in Luzhou.
There's also like 700 videos on it that you can look up.
5 or 6 years ago. It is a pancake, and you wrap up like a little chicken or bacon and an egg.
Oh my God, are we doing pancake now?
We might be doing pancake now. They are delicious. I don't know if you can get... I'm sure there's a Chinatown somewhere that serves what it is.
They're all the rage in the streets.
But I don't know where they are.
Street pancake.
But yeah, so that's the kiss of doom for our workflow when that story starts to show up in the lineup. But so this particular time, after spending a couple weeks, two videos in a row, a fairly intensive production, we'd slim down to, I'm not even going to write a script anymore. I'll brainstorm an idea during the week. And maybe sometimes you and I talked it out, but sometimes I would just say, like, I'm ready and let's go.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'd outline it in a written outline, but usually sometimes I just practice it in my head a couple times.
Because I was busy practicing with how many different cameras we could use.
Yeah.
Lighting and times of day and locations.
Yeah.
I don't care what you have to talk about. Just tell me when you're ready to talk.
Yeah, and so I'd actually like practice reciting it in my head on my walk to and from work, which is about 10 minutes. So it was like a good time to kind of get my stories in order. And then when we had some stories, we would go down just in front of our apartment complex because that gave us some nice traffic.
There's a lot of
nice
neighborhood
background,
traffic, a lot of neighbor friends and babies and old folks
And Peter's directorial concept was I'd set up a tripod right in front of me, and then he'd be the wide shot pretty far away, so he'd be filming me filming myself, and so he'd get my camera in the shot, and so it was really like a Brechtian exploration of
sometimes
a vlog.
3 cameras.
Yeah, sometimes we did have a 3 camera setup for a vlog,
which was great because it would confuse the passerbys that would see you vlogging with the camera, so they'd stop to look at you, and then they'd wonder what you're looking at, and they would see me vlogging, you vlogging, and then there'd be another camera that would catch all of us all together.
Yeah. So that was a fun way of working, and it's still in our tool belt. You might see that style come back. But the 2 in particular that were filmed in this style were phone repair. So phone repair was about replacing the battery in my phone, which I took pains, and I'm going to take pains again to say I could do it myself, except one of the screws was stripped, and I didn't strip it. I don't know how it got stripped, but it wasn't me, and I didn't have a good tool to still get that screw open, so I needed to go into our guy and get it fixed, or not? Yeah, get him to switch the battery for me, and he did. I had to bring my own battery, but that's fine. I think he didn't charge me for it, which was really nice of him. He just.
You have a guy.
I have a guy. We go there a lot for all of our broken Apple products. So he's our Mac guy, and he helps us out. But so anyway, I told the story. I got a little footage from inside the computer world. Every city in China has like a grouping of buildings where all the computer you can buy. Usually like the first floor is new computers, printers, cell phones, blah blah, and then like upstairs is different kinds of repairs.
Like junk piles where you'd find C-3PO like hanging out.
Yeah, and I love it there. But every city has a computer world, so that's convenient. You don't have to. I mean, is that communism? I don't know why that happens in China, but like you don't.
All the stores.
Yeah, you don't like. There's not like, oh, Adorama is down here and B&H is over here, and Macworld is over here. They're all just in one area.
It's like a business district of kind. Like
yeah.
You keep all your same goods. If I'm going to buy sneakers, I don't want to have to go across town, I guess, to get to the comparison shop.
Yeah, but I think an aspect of that is also a planned economy versus how a city would naturally develop. I'm reading this book about architecture and city planning. That's really interesting. A city is not a tree. That's all about how when architects discovered city planning, the plans they made did not take into account like how humans exist in cities, and so that his was a call to action to consider the human systems within a city.
That's a bonus read it.
Yeah, that's a bonus read it for you. Christopher Alexander. It's really interesting. It's a little bit dry, but it's really interesting. But anyway, so that was phone repair that we filmed out in the front there. We got a lot of good traffic. Babies especially, we like to watch babies walking around like they're grown-ups outside. And then the other one we did in that style is I'm vlogging here. I didn't drop my phone into the toilet or something.
Yeah, that's the other one, the two other ones.
Which was actually a pair of stories, because that's also something we were trying too, that 5 minutes didn't have to be one narrative. It could be a diptych or triptych of things that were occurring to me at the time. So I believe the story was, I got a new phone. Because the phone repair, it was still an old phone that I didn't really like. Or no, I liked it, but we wanted a better camera.
Yeah.
And so I bought that phone. And then the other one was about the squat toilet, and I'm clumsy, and I keep knocking things into the toilet.
But we got a healthy amount of looky-loos.
Yeah, so those were the two stories, but actually the glue of that one serendipitously turned into a lot of passers-by looked like right into the camera, and then a couple people even like had conversations with me while we were filming, and that's exactly why we would put ourselves out there, is because we did want to catch that happy accident of interaction with some strangers.
Yeah, a lot of people that, especially bloggers, will recognize as they're walking around of like, everyone must think I'm crazy just walking around talking to myself. And so we thought like, well, what if we made a spectacle of it?
Yeah. And actually, I feel like I recently said this somewhere, but maybe I just said it to you. The explanation, I'm making a video so my friends and family can see what my life is like in China, like, satisfies them. That they don't think I'm a crazy person. Yeah,
it's not like they're wandering around like throwing pitchforks at you or anything. They go, what's up? And you're like, for my family.
Yeah.
Like, right on, cool.
Even, can I share the breakfast story?
Yeah.
So even this week, we were filming something new for the new content coming in June. And we were filming outside we have like a little gazebo on a pond where all the old ladies like to hang out and smoke and play mahjong. And so we had our setup, and these two ladies were early. We were early for mahjong, and they were early for mahjong, so they were just hanging out. And then we were setting up, and so they're like, "Oh, what's going on here?" They picked up my slate, and were like slamming it because that's so cool. And then we started filming, and to me it was like obvious we're filming, so back off. But then it was not obvious to them, because after a while of that and they didn't like get the hint, I did say like, we're filming, can you go sit you can sit in the background, but can you go sit over there? And they're like, I didn't know. And so they told, like,
they were fine with it.
It is a weird thing to go film yourself in public, but it's like,
we had scoped out the day before, and
people get it also.
They were down there, and we weren't with cameras, but we looked around, and they didn't pay any attention to us, so we thought, like, that'll be a nice quiet place for us to film.
Because they were deep into their mahjong game at the time.
We went down too early and went with cameras, so they wanted in on the deal.
Yeah, because also while this was going on, so we're filming something with like a pretty hefty setup. We've got a tripod, and we've got like props and a slate, and they saw us set up microphones. They're setting up a mahjong game, and then a lady just comes down and practices her singing. I don't even know what she was singing. Did you see her?
No.
She just like sat down in a corner and like had her little book and was like singing softly to herself. So like, I think the city rules is, if someone's doing something weird but it's not really bothering you and it's not dangerous, let it be. But any city. But I think especially in China, you can do a lot of stuff in public that people don't really mind.
Yeah, playing with swords, throwing children around.
Yeah, you can take naps. You can take a walk with your eyes closed because you're trying out a new meditation technique.
Yeah, all the backwards walking.
Yeah.
Showing off your birds.
Yeah. So like, that's to our benefit, is people don't really mind you doing weird stuff. And there is, like, I guess what they measure with babies, if they're paying attention to something, to like, their eyes are attracted to new things. I think adults are that way too. So like, people will notice, a new thing's happening. Okay, that's an old thing that's happening now. We don't care. They always do this. We don't really mind.
It's tough if we're actually trying to film something that you've written,
Yeah.
But there's not a problem with vlogging.
Yeah.
We've got time. We're out there just looking at ourselves in cameras, so like,
and we're putting ourselves out there so that we might have.
Yeah.
Because I've got, especially with these vlog pieces, the phone repair and the dropping stuff into toilets. Like we're sharing stories of our life, but if we can have our life unfold before the camera, that's even better. That's a bonus.
Yeah.
So thematically, we were really psyched to have that happen.
And there's one coming up too, where a guy becomes pretty involved. He watches the whole one. Maybe next week it'll premiere. I forget the name of that one.
Okay. Just keep an eye out for that.
Keep an eye out in the background.
Yeah.
But there's a guy who wants in on the action.
Yeah. And then the other really big one we published this week was the hot bowl challenge, which was with very little planning. I think you just brought the camera to dinner one night.
I think the night before we talked about it would be fun to just film a dinner, and we like laughed that it'd be funny if we filmed it like it was a sports event.
Yeah, so Peter brought the camera, and then...
Two cameras,
that's right. And we ate dinner, and then I wrote kind of a sports announcer script without being a watcher of sports that are announced. So we kind of like, we did our thing. And part of that was a little bit of a mischievous YouTube wants a long video. We'll give them a long video. And that one clocks in at like 27 minutes.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Yeah. And so people are watching about 6 minutes of it and turning it off.
Or less.
It's
kind of a one-off joke. I mean, I think we've got some good jokes that happen throughout the whole half hour. But essentially the joke is done after 3 minutes.
It's not a piece that we invested our artistic soul into it. I will be straightforward with you. It's a joke. The whole thing, we're making a joke. And
also it was at the time too of like when mukbang was.
Oh yeah, mukbang is when people watch a person eat. Yeah.
So we don't watch eating videos or sports, so we thought we would make one celebrating both.
Yeah, it's kind of
and make it impossibly long to watch.
Yeah, it's kind of a jerk manifesto.
So the fact that a day later we have 120 views on it is kind of a triumph.
Yeah, or like, guys, you're not supposed to watch that one. But yeah, so that's there's not really a big story. That's what that is. Those just being jerks. But also, hot pot is delicious. It's my favorite food.
Yeah, there is actually, if you don't know hot pot and you want to see how you make a spice bowl and some of the ingredients that go in it, it is informative.
If you need to see someone watch a given meal before you try that kind of meal,
particularly
there you go.
Since hot pot is something to celebrate with the entire families or
it's not a solitary
one lone woman eating a hot pot.
It's not like marathoning. It's supposed to be a festive occasion where a bunch of your friends get together.
But we made it what we made it.
Yeah, it works for us. We often eat hot pot, just the two of us, and that's not like, oh, we're doing something wrong. There's
plenty of
there's big tables and small tables, so you can have your 20-person party or your 4-person party or your 2-person party.
Around the country, it appears that hot pot is usually a special night out with many friends or family. I think in Sichuan we just eat it so, not just we, everyone eats it so often that like there's... It's
this province's specialty, so it is like...
It's an every night thing. You
take a date.
Yeah.
For the spiciest food ever.
Our first year at least we ate hot pot every night.
Well, we ate chuan every night.
Well, we boiled hot stuff.
We put food in spicy boiling water. But I do think it's funny because you now prefer the non-spicy broth and I like the spicy broth. So they have like options. You can get the full spicy bowl or you can get half spicy, half Not spicy. I don't think you can get just not spicy. I don't think
I've never seen one, unless it's like a tofu
you
or
probably,
vegetarian.
Yeah, but that's not whole guo, or that's tofu whole guo. That's not.
Just because they boil it in the center of your table doesn't mean it's the same.
But like, I think I bet like we could ask for it, because they have a pot and they could just fill it with the other broth.
For you weirdos.
But it's not an option on the menu. It's not listed on the menu to just get not spicy. But this is what I think is also funny, that you don't eat spice. You eat the non-spicy and I eat the spicy. So we each are getting our own broth, but in this huge cauldron in the middle of our table. There are some places that do individual soups, and you have your own little burner and your little pot of soup. But those are less fun.
Mm. You can get your own flavors, though.
Yeah.
Sours or seafoods or
We're
tomatoes.
Pretty far off topic.
Other things about hot pot.
Let's have hot pot tomorrow.
Maybe hot pot.
Excuse me. I think that's kind of maybe all we have to say about
hot pot.
Hot pot and the videos we made. So let's move on to watch it.
Watch it.
So our watch it recommendation this week is the Netflix series American Vandal, which I think came out last year. And there's
maybe the year before.
Maybe the year before. There's 2 seasons, and we just watched the first one. You watched the first one last year.
Yeah.
And then we were talking about something recently, and you were like, I think you would like it. So we did.
Premise.
The premise is, it's a parody of the podcast Serial Season 1, in that it's a true crime investigation, but the crime it's investigating is a high school act of vandalism where someone draws a bunch of penises on the teachers' cars, and the kids in the AV club want to get to the bottom. They think the accused is not who did it, and they want to get to the bottom of this mystery. And if you've listened to Serial, I don't listen to other true crime, so I don't know, but Serial, I think specifically, is what they were parodying, and it was pitch perfect, down to like all of Sarah Koenig. Now I forget. All of the hosts' mannerisms of like, now you might wonder, I learned this, but something just didn't add up. Like, so it's so specific, and it's like pitch perfect, really funny. But if that was a joke, maybe like one episode would have been sufficient. They do take it actually turns into a really touching story, specifically centered around the accused vandal, who you get the sense he's a troubled kid. He's the kind of kid who's like makes disruptions in class and is weaselly about like, hey, I'm just asking for a pencil, and like
he's a prankster.
He's a prankster. The teachers all hate him. He doesn't get good grades. He has a brother who also terrorized these same teachers. And you really do get a feel for this kid, why he is the way he is, and how his self-perception affects how he acts out.
One of his crowning efforts was his YouTube series, Farting on Babies.
Yeah. It's like so juvenile, and then it twists, and it's like really, it's touching. And it is like, in its own right, it's a good story. And then even further than that, I think they were clever to make it high school students also making the production, because it goes very much into the ethics of documentary making. I can't say that word. Documentary making, in that how do you balance a search for truth versus how that affects people's lives? When is it, I mean, this is a simple 101 journalism. When is it harassment, even if you have the truth in mind? And when you're airing stuff told to you in private and that affects people's lives, what's your responsibility there? It really, I think, beautifully integrates those ideas into this fantastically silly joke. And because the stakes are low, it is like, it's spray paint vandalism, not murder. I think it lets them ask the question of, like, is it acceptable to use real people's lives for entertainment? And this is not really a spoiler, although don't listen if you want to hear at all beyond how the first episode progresses.
1, 2, 3.
Within the world of the show, the boys put out the documentary online while they are working on new episodes. So later episodes show not just their investigation, but people's reaction to the episodes that are already published, and you can see how, like, public opinion changes, and people who've said stuff on camera have had things happen to them because of what they said on camera, or people who didn't think about what it would mean to say these things publicly now have to deal with those ramifications. And I think as a former journalist and a current filmmaker, it was just like hit those questions really, really square. And it does in a way that, like, it's not didactic, it's not giving you answers, it's just like asking you to think about what these issues mean. And it's just, like, fantastically silly and funny. So
it's funny and surprising. There's a lot of what's the purpose in where media, personal social media, actual news, documentary, justice, court, how it all happens in such a public forum. And particularly with people who are not, they're kids and some teachers and some parents, but no one is a lawyer until they bring a lawyer in, but, like,
right.
No one is a journalist. No one. It's when you have children playing adults,
right,
about something that's, again, not as serious as murder, but something where we have to look at what's the outcome of deciding what justice belongs where
and where how important is, or what license does pursuit of truth give to you in terms of how you treat other people and their stories and their lives?
Yeah, you might not just be hurting yourself or the defendant or somebody that has possibly done something wrong, or you might be hurting extra people on the side that had nothing to do with anything. Yeah.
Which because I think again is an interesting parallel with actual Serial season 1. She's a This American Life alum, and I think it's Sarah Koenig. But anyway, the woman who made and produced Serial, that show is as much an investigation of her own journalistic process as it is into the story of this guy who may or may not have wrongfully been accused of murder 20 years ago. And there are some things I think she's publicly spoken about that she got wrong in her pursuit of the story. Which I don't want to get into a whole discussion about Serial. But, like, she used that opportunity to make a statement about journalism as well as true crime, which because I don't really care about true crime at all. But I do care about journalism a lot, so that's why I was really interested in that. And I like that down to the meta issues that the series is discussing, American Vandal, like, so squarely, but I think lovingly. Has Serial in its sights, and I think they did a really good job.
And there's tons of other knockoffs from Serial at some point that it became possibly making, I think, a little more of a jab at the genre that spawned from it.
But it's clearly Serial is on the filmmakers' minds. And there is a season 2, which we haven't watched yet, but I heard it's not as good, much like Serial season 2. I did listen to Serial season 2, and it does not have the immediacy of the first season, although I do think it was very interesting. And then I haven't listened to Serial season 3, so that might be a future watch it.
Or not.
Or not, depending on... I know I heard it's good. But anyway, one more shout out from American Vandal is that Jimmy Tatro, who plays the accused, Dylan Maxwell, it started as a YouTube guy. So, yay, YouTubers. I mean, he doesn't need my support. He's got a recurring role on Modern Family now, but it is... We like to...
He's a lot of fun to watch. He's sort of like possibly, maybe a slightly more aware Mark Wahlberg. He kind of plays...
Oh, yeah.
He plays
yeah.
like
He's got like a dumb meathead thing going on, but I think that he might...
He's very aware of it and plays it.
Not be so self-serious as a person as Mr. Wahlberg is.
He makes it very enjoyable to watch. So
yeah.
You kind of, like you're saying, it starts off as he's a meathead farting on babies, and by the end you're like, I want this kid to go to college.
Yeah, because that's what's on the line.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he started out as a YouTuber. It's a real job.
It's a real job.
So that's our watch it recommendation, American Vandal on Netflix. And I think that might be it for this week. Do you have any parting words, Peter?
Parting, no.
Okay. Well, so that's it for this week. We are happy to have you wherever you are. And stay tuned. We'll be back again here for the live stream, and we'll be over on Hello Foreigner with a Wednesday video and a Saturday video.
Actually.
And a surprise giraffe tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Actually, when this comes out.
It will be today. Today. Look right for now, a giraffe.
If you've just finished watching this, go on over to...
Yeah, go on over to Hello Foreigner. Subscribe to both places, because do you want to miss a thing? No, you don't.
Yeah, hit the likes.
Hit the likes, subscribe. Keep eating noodles. Noodles to you.